What's up, guys? This is Brave, and I'm back with another review of Tyler Perry's Sistas. This is season 3, episode 3, and let's just go ahead and get into it. I know that this review is late, but honestly, Sistas is draining me. I need for something to happen. Like, I get that there was a few things that happened on this episode, but I need more. All right, so let's just go ahead and break this down person by person, because honestly, for me, not much happened. We're going to start off with Zach. So, we start off with Zach and this white woman. He goes and finds her laptop or her bag or whatever, because remember, she left it on the plane or something like that. So, he's like waiting for a tip, and baby girl is like, oh, you want a tip? She gives him this little card that has like some stock information on it. It's like, oh, if you invest your money into this stock, you'll be richer, 5 times richer, I think, or something like that. And I'm just like, oh, okay. Here we go. He might fall for a scam, or it might be true. So the lady's like, well, listen, here's my number, here's my information. Call me when you're off so I can tell you how it works. So, of course, the lady walks off, but who is standing over his shoulder? Danny. Danny's like, oh, so now you're trying to get with a cougar and all this stuff? I'm just like, Danny, go be at your desk. Like, why are you so worried about what Zach got going on? All right, so then we do see that Zach meets up with this lady. He goes to her hotel room or whatever, and she's like, listen, this is some insider trading stuff. This is the information that I want to give you. I would suggest that you invest all your money in this. And he's like, well, listen, I only got $1,000. Now, I know a lot of people are asking, how does he only have $1,000 when he just got this money from Fatima? Because why would he tell this lady that he got all this money? She don't need to know that information. Listen, the boy is a bag boy at the airport. She know that they don't make no money. So, of course, he gonna say, I only have like $1,000 in my savings account. I don't have a bank account. I said, now, hold on. Where you cashing your check at? But I digress. So, this woman, she ends up offering Zach $50,000 to basically put the money in his name, and then after they make the money on it, oh yeah, go ahead and pay her chunk of change, and then you get to keep a portion. At this point, Zach is like, nah, ain't no way no white woman about to give me no $50,000. So what does he end up doing? He ends up leaving. He's like, it was nice meeting you. Thanks for the drink. And let me go ahead and bow on out. Now, do I think that he may be thinking about doing it? Yes, I definitely think so. But we'll see what happens when the next episode. All right, so what else happened with him? You know what? There's another scene with Zach, but I'm going to talk about that later when I talk about Fatima. You know what I really want to get to? Let's just go ahead and talk about Sabrina, because she annoyed the hell out of me this entire episode. All right, so when it comes down to Sabrina, she is stuck in her office, or at least that's what she wants to portray herself to be doing, because she's so busy, aka she's avoiding because of what happened the previous night, and she's also avoiding Maurice. But Maurice, he comes and knocks on the door, is like, hey, did you get my email? Because I'm trying to let you know what's going on with Calvin's account. I know he didn't do this. We need to fix it. She ain't trying to hear nothing from Maurice. All right, here comes Jacoby. He over here talking about can you let me in because there's something wrong with the report that I did. And I'm just like, it's so funny to me how they're just doing all these reports at the bank. I just want to know, what are they reporting? I've never worked at a bank, but I'm just curious to know. So she ends up having to let Jacoby in because this is supposed to be work related, even though what Maurice was just telling you was also kind of work related, but I digress. So Jacoby comes in and he goes back to this apologizing that he does. Here's my only issue with him. He always apologizes, but then he always goes back to say, because when we were doing this, but I think you liked it when I did that. And I'm just like, sir, stop trying to be a reminder of what happened the night before. But I find it interesting that when they were talking, Sabrina was like, well, it was just a booty call. I did like the fact that he's like, yeah, it's the booty call that you initiated, because let's not get it twisted. You're the one who called him, sweetheart. So the fact that all this went down and you're trying to push him away or whatever you're trying to do, you called him in the first place. So you knew what you wanted to begin with. But after that, they both decide, you know what, we're going to keep this professional. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. Don't really care. So then we have Calvin. He strolls into the bank or whatever, and he's confronting Maurice like, yo, I just checked my bank account. It's emptied out. Like, I don't understand what's happening. You know I didn't do this. All this stuff. And I'm just like, but I don't understand why he's coming in there acting like what Maurice told him over the phone would be a lie. Also, okay, am I tripping? But did he have like a construction company? Wouldn't he know like if there's all these charges that are being made to his account? Also, this guy took, okay, let me know what y'all think about this. So I'm assuming that this guy took Calvin's checkbook, right? Now, I thought what the guy was doing was writing checks out to himself and then going to the banks and cashing them. I'm confused as to him having all these charges. I'm like, what is he charging? Like, I need to know. First of all, who still takes checks? So I don't understand what's happening. Because it's not like he took his credit card. He took his checkbook. So I just need to know what exactly is old boy doing with this checkbook. Also, another thing that I'm trying to understand is the fact that Calvin said that his account was overdrawn or whatever because he went to the ATM. Now, my question is, why didn't you call your bank or get on your app to check and see what your bank account was looking like? Because I know for sure that most people have it set up on their phones to where it will alert you if there's something fishy going on with your account. I'm just confused with this whole storyline because Tyler needs to write better. Because this is just not believable or acceptable. Because then they go on to talk about how he can only get his stuff reversed at this particular bank because I guess he personally knows Sabrina and she's a manager who can do it. But again, at the same time, like I said, I thought what old boy was doing was he'll come to the bank because the check is going to say who you're paying it to. I figured that he would put his name in there and it's for construction or whatever it is and then cash in the 5Gs. You get what I'm saying? I'm trying to figure out how are they going to reverse these charges. If old boy has already gotten away with your money over here, over there, over there, over there, yes, sir, there's going to be a whole investigation. Okay, so also can we talk about how unprofessional this bank is? I mean, I know there's never anybody in there, but when Maurice went to go talk to Sabrina, and he's like, oh, I need a manager out here. She's like, can't you find another one? And it's like, girl, you just going over an empty blank page with Jacoby. You can come outside. So at this point, you have Calvin is worked up. He yelling for her to come out the door. She finally opens up the door. Who comes out? Oh, her and Jacoby. So now Calvin is feeling some type of way. It's like, dude, I told you, don't let him be in there with her or whatever, because, you know, he gonna feel some type of way. Maurice is like, listen, baby, I just got back from break. He did not know that Jacoby was even in there. So then for Sabrina to be like, okay, so like, what is this for? And Maurice is like, okay, you got my emails. And she says yes. So then he's like, well, you know, we need to reverse the charges or whatever. And she's like, do you have like a police report? And I'm like, I understand her saying, you know, do you have a police report? I get all that. But I feel like she's still so hurt because he told her about herself last night. This is where all this attitude is coming from. You're so upset that he told you that you listen to other people and never believe anything that he has to say because that's exactly what you do. Now you want to give him all the attitude and all the smoke. This was so unprofessional of her because actually when I think about it, let's say that you were, if someone was using your account and you tell the bank that, you know, these are not my charges or whatever, it's not a police report thing that has to be filed. I know that for sure because unless your identity was completely stolen. Because I know for sure I've gotten cards replaced because they were like, hey, did you make this purchase? Did you make that purchase? And if I said no, they'll be like, oh, well, you know, we're just going to we're going to remove those charges and we're going to replace your card. So I'm not understanding why Sabrina is giving all this attitude. Like, the one thing about this scene that I really hated was the fact that it became so personal about Sabrina and Jacoby hooking up, Calvin feeling some type of way. Sabrina not wanting to talk about this. And I'm just like, girl, we'll just clear his account or whatever you got to do, and we can be done. And be like, sir, we'll mail out some new checks for you from your new account. I don't understand why we had to go through all of this, because at one point, she's like, well, I did just get in trouble for some stuff. And I'm just like, ain't that funny? Because you let old boy move some money into Andy's account and you were absolutely fine with that. But for Calvin, where you know that he didn't commit all this fraud, you not trying to help this man. That's crazy to me. And then for her to let him know that, it's because I have to follow protocol, and he tells her that she's full of crap. She's like, don't talk to me like this. Girl, please know that any average customer would definitely call you out about that. Let's be honest here. So then you have Jacoby trying to stand up for his woman or whatever. Next thing you know, him and Calvin are about to have a little tussle. Calvin pushes Jacoby. Jacoby ends up punching Calvin's lights out. He did like 2 spins and a twist, and I was just done. I said, oh, absolutely not. Then when I realized that he was the one who made that little shriek noise, I said, no, absolutely not. Bye, Tyler. Like, I hate the fact that Tyler keeps playing on this idea that we're going to keep making Calvin's character seem like he's gay, but he's not. That is weird to me. So after that little scuffle or whatever, the fact that she ended up kicking Jacoby out while he was defending her, talking about she gonna suspend him. And I'm just like, girl, let's be honest here, because this is a bank. I'm pretty sure they have cameras here. And if they have cameras, they're going to ask Maurice what happened. And at the end of the day, it looks like Jacoby is trying to defend you because your ex done strolled through the bank. But you going to suspend him? I'm sorry, Jacoby should not have been suspended. So then we finally get another scene with this group. And Calvin is still laid out on the ground. You have Maurice trying to help get him up. So when he finally does get up, he's talking about he going to beat Jacoby up. Not happening. And Sabrina's like, well, here you go. I reversed the charges. Now can you go? And he's like, this is all you have to do in the first place. And she's like, I did not know, what was going on. And he's like, listen, you knew that I did not do this. But again, you never believe anything that I say. Which is very true. This is what he has told her time and time again, how she don't believe him. So he finally ends up leaving. Now, honestly, for me, this needs to be the end of Calvin. I don't need to see his character on this show any longer, only in the capacity of him being Maurice's roommate, but him trying to pursue Sabrina, let's let that go. Oh, also, I forgot to mention that after Jacoby left, Calvin, after he left, you have Sabrina coming at Maurice talking about did you set this up? How was he going to set up Calvin is getting his money taken, then for him to have to come into the bank? Like, girl, if you don't get a clue. Then I love the fact that Maurice is like, no, sweetheart. Let me give you the play-by-play of your life and how you tried to play with both of these men, and then they had a tussle in the bank. That's on you, baby girl. She had nothing to say. So there was another scene that I almost forgot about. Let me just add it on in here. And that was between Calvin and Maurice. They're at Calvin's house. Well, not Calvin, Maurice's place. And they're just talking about how he needs to go ahead and move on from Sabrina. Let that go. And here's my only issue. The fact that he talking about, so it's time for him to be buck wild. It's time for him to cut loose. I'm like, who says this? Like, real life, who says this, Tyler? Why did you write this way? Also, we don't need to see him get wild or buck loose, because that needs to be Calvin's exiting music. We don't need to see Calvin again. Let's let his character go. It's okay. Alright, let's just go ahead and move on to our girl Fatima. Actually, I might mix Fatima and Andi together just from their scenes being in the office, and then move on to what happened at that photo shoot. So we actually see Fatima. She gets a phone call from Gary. She's like, alright, I'll put you through to Miss Barnes. And he's like, no, actually, I want to talk to you. There's going to be a photo shoot later for Andi, and I want you to be there to support her. So Fatima finally agrees, even though she wants him to get off her line, like, immediately, because she don't like Gary, like the rest of us. So he kept trying to talk to her. At one point, she ends up hanging up on him, and then she goes to talk to Andi. So Andi tells her, oh, well, can you reach out to this police officer because I need to file a police report. I thought that's what they were doing at the house. When they had her sitting in one room while Gary was sitting up, propped up in the other one, I'm trying to figure out what was that then? Was they just there to keep you company or what? Like, what do you mean you need to file another police report? Also, they don't find it very strange that Andi is just filing police reports here, there, and everywhere. Because didn't she not too long ago file a police report against Jasmine? But whatever. So she asked Fatima if she could like reach out to the police station and see when she can set that up and if she could do it over the phone. I'm like, I've never heard of such things, but sure, let's just run with it. So Fatima's like, okay, well, you want me to set this up for after work? And she's like, no, I have something going on. Well, Gary actually had a friend whose model dropped out, so now I'm going to be doing it. First of all, Fatima is seeing all the red flags, and Andi is not. Because Fatima blatantly says that she don't trust him. So Andi's response is, oh, you're just like the girls. They feel the same way. I feel like I told them too much information about him. So, they never gave him a fair shot. I said a fair shot. Andi, let's rewind a little bit. You got involved with a married man, and then you tried to play house with him. Then his wife found out about y'all. She came on the attack. And then he tried to yoke you up. He tried to go ahead and choke you out or grip you up. What did he do to her? No, he hugged her. He hugged her so tight she couldn't breathe. Like, he done played with her. Her house got taken. Her money got taken. Listen, Gary has done all types of things. Oh, I forgot when he tried to kidnap you and take you to the middle of nowhere. Girl, what are you talking about? They didn't give him a fair shot. A fair shot was when y'all met, y'all walked away from each other and never said hello again. That would have been a fair shot. And one thing that I love that Fatima said is like, listen, yeah, you may have told your friends this stuff, but you told them the truth. This is the stuff that he was putting you through. And now Andi's like, well, I just want you to be my friend and not be like the girls, aka don't call me out about dating Gary, even though Gary is trash. Okay, girlfriend. So now Fatima's like, all right, well, I'm going to go with you to this little photo shoot because she don't trust Gary and she want to see what this is all about. Okay, cool. So the next time that we see Fatima and Andi, Fatima is letting Andi know that she has a client there. Now, I don't know if this guy is going to be married to the lady who was talking to Zach, or if this is just a reminder that Andi does have a job and she is a lawyer. Like, I don't know, because if Tyler tries to tie those two storylines together, I know for sure I'll be over it. But we do learn that Fatima has no interest in this man because she feels like he's trying to take all of the wealth and money from his wife. She ain't feeling it. And the fact that he bossing her around to go get some type of breakfast cake. So Andi ends up meeting up with this guy or whatever. And she basically has to reassure him that she's going to handle his case and he needs to stop showing up to her office unannounced. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and move on. Because next thing you know, Zach is in the hallway waiting on Fatima because he's trying to pull up on her. So Fatima don't want to go out there. And Andi's like, girl, go see that man. So he's like, can we, when she finally goes out there, he's like, can we go talk in private? So she goes and takes him to some little back room. Okay, cool. So this is where he decides that he wants to, first of all, check her, be like, oh, why you ain't answering none of my calls? I've been calling you. Why you ain't been answering? All this stuff. It's like, because you ain't her man, remember? Why are you tripping? So he ends up going on about how he misses her and all this stuff. And here's my thing about this whole Zach and Karen and Fatima situation. I feel like I would respect it more if there was a couple of days in between all this. Because when you think about it, how long has it been? Like 1 day, 1 or 2 days? So I'm really not understanding how Tyler makes these characters play yo-yo. They bounce from here to there to there. And it's just like, can a couple of days go by, then you see that person? Make it realistic. Because she hasn't talked to Zach for like a few hours, and now he's but I want to be with you, Fatima. You just gonna give up on what we had? Really? Get out of here. But he ends up letting Fatima know that he wants to come over to her place. She keeps telling him, no, this is over. She's done with it. And then just to get him to leave her job, she basically has to tell him, yeah, I'll think about it and I'll let you know. So we already know that she's probably going to give in and he's going to come over in the next episode. So after Fatima is done talking to Zach, she goes back in there with Andi, and Andy's like, okay, so what was all that about? And I'm just like, last time I checked, y'all weren't that good of friends, considering you're trying to not be so close to this situation of her and Zach. But whatever. So basically, Fatima is telling Andi, like, that conversation was nothing when it comes to her and Zach. And Andi is like, I would never betray my friend Karen. But I'm just like, here we go. Why do you think that this conversation needs your approval? Like, why do you think that we even care about your opinion about Fatima and what she's doing with Zach? Because she then goes on to tell Fatima, like, I've always liked Zach, but I never liked him for Fatima. I mean, not Fatima, for Karen. Now, did y'all catch her follow-up line? It was because she felt like Karen could do better than Zach. However, I guess he's okay for Fatima. I have a problem with that. Because that's basically saying that, I see Zach, he a cool dude, but not for my girl Karen. Like, Karen got her stuff together. Karen deserves somebody better. But you, Fatima, oh yeah, you can take Zach. He a little scraggly or whatever, but I guess that's your level. Y'all see what I'm saying? I don't like Andi at all. So after that, they decide that they're going to go ahead and head on over to this photo shoot. So then we see Andi. She's dressed in this wedding dress. She has a bouquet in her hand. And I can't lie, she looked awkward to me. The whole time she looked extremely awkward. I just want to know, where was hair and makeup and all this stuff, or was she doing this herself? Just curious. So next thing you know, you have Fatima walking in as if this is the first time that she's seen Andi, with all this on. Keep in mind, they were supposed to have left the office at the same time, yet Andi has already had hair, makeup, and gotten dressed. All that has been done. How much time is going to pass, and why did it take Fatima so long to get there? Whatever. So Fatima is just telling her how, she's doing great. She looks great. Really complimenting Andi. So old boy who's taking the photos, he steps away because he has a phone call, and Andi gets off the little podium thing. So they go to look at the photos or whatever, and Andy's like, yeah, I'm going to ask the designer if I could possibly buy this for my actual wedding. And that's when I realized she has not even told Fatima that she's engaged, because Fatima was kind of taken aback when she was like, for her real wedding. So, yeah. Why is it that Fatima don't know yet, girl? Considering that's your girl. But, whatever. So, next thing you know, who comes in? The three musketeers. And that is Karen, Sabrina, and Danny. Again, Danny is still wearing this work outfit, and it drives me nuts because I hate that she has to wear that white blouse and that black pencil skirt all the time. I mean, hopefully this season they really switch it up, and she's not only wearing that, because last season she practically wore that outfit every episode. Go back and watch it, I promise you. But anyways, they get there. Andy's trying to figure out how are they there, because she didn't tell them about it. She first assumes that it's Fatima who told them. She's like, nah, girl, I ain't told nobody about this. Come to find out, it is Gary who invited the ladies to come support Andi. So next thing you know, the photographer comes back, right? He basically tells them, oh my gosh, all of you look so beautiful. We have some bridesmaid dresses in the back. Go ahead and try those on, so that way all you guys can be in the photos. And I'll pay you guys $500 a piece. Of course, Danny is all here for it because it's $500 in cash. So she's down for it. And all the ladies are kind of like, I don't know. But then they end up agreeing that they would do it. Here's my whole thing. How did none of y'all find this to be weird? That some photographer, now he needs some bridesmaids to participate? Nobody thought that was weird? And then for them to go into the back, right? All of them, they found a dress that they liked, and it happened to be everybody's size. How did Gary get everybody's size? I just want to know the answer to that. Someone let me know how he knew all the ladies' sizes. Okay, sir. So here's another thing that blows my mind, because the ladies are back there talking about how, should we really be doing this? Like, is this even okay for us to do? And we already know Danny's like, listen, he got $500. I'm going to go ahead and do it. Now, what throws me off is the fact that these ladies have been at work all day. All day. Their makeup is not looking fresh faced. Their hair is not looking fresh. Where is the hairstylist? Where is the makeup artist? Where is somebody? See what I'm saying, Tyler? Get it together. Make it realistic. So the ladies go over there to go get their sizes, right? Danny gets her size, boom. Sabrina gets her size, boom. So that leaves who? Fatima and Karen. Karen has a nasty attitude, yet again, when it comes to Fatima, which is so annoying because baby girl did not do anything to you. So Fatima is trying to apologize or whatever for everything that happened, which I'm just like, Tyler, you're going to stop making Fatima apologize, because she's too much of a boss to not realize that she shouldn't be the one apologizing. Come on now. Because I feel like at this point, Karen can only give her so much attitude before, Fatima actually goes off on her. I mean, unless Tyler is trying to let her build up some tolerance and then she gonna spaz on Karen, then I'm all here for that. Because literally, Fatima looked at, what's her name? Karen, and was like, oh, what size are you? Like a size 2 or 4 or whatever. And Karen is like, how do you know my size? And I'm just like, girl, you're big as a toothpick, first of all. And secondly, please know that her and Zach were not talking about you and what size you were. Please know that. And like Fatima's like, listen, I used to sell clothes back in the day. Like, I can look at people and tell what size they are. Which, I mean, I feel like anybody can see Karen and be like, yeah, she's a size 2. Like, I'm just so over Karen at this point. I need for her storyline to change at this point, because her anger towards Fatima does not make any sense. So all the ladies, they get dressed, right, in these dresses, and next thing you know, they're having this photo shoot. Now, they have the 4 bridesmaids here. You have Andi as the bride, some guy who's standing in as the groom, and some guy behind them as the pastor. I said, and what kind of photo shoot is this? Because I just feel like there was way too many details as far as how many people were involved for Andi and them not to realize, like, hey, Gary must be up to something. So next thing you know, they're starting to take the photos, and Gary walks in suited and booted, okay? So he tells the guy who's standing in as the groom, like, all right, my man, I can take it from here. So Andy's like, baby, what are you doing here? It's just like, girl, stop trying to be all soft with Gary. You should have already known he had something up his sleeve. So this is where Gary goes on to give a whole speech about how he can't live another day without Andi and all this hoopla. And I'm just like, it's all the lies. It's all lies. Because Gary is full of crap. I mean, this man went on about how, this isn't a real photo shoot. This is my proposal. Actually, I want us to get married right here and right now. And I'm just like, sir, where is her family? Where is your family? You have a whole child. And you supposedly have a mother that's alive now, because I could have swore she died a long time ago. And her ashes were being put into your gas tank. But you know what? I digress. But my point is that how you going to try to have this girl marry you and she ain't got none of her people there besides her friends? That blows my mind. You mean to tell me Andi ain't got no cousins, like a favorite auntie, no sisters, no brothers, no nobody? Okay. We're just going to keep going with the story, Tyler. We're going to keep going. So at that point, Andi is just so smitten when it comes to Gary. And that was basically where the episode ended, with Gary waiting for Andi to respond if she wants to go ahead and get married right then and right there. You have her friends. They are all sitting there dumbfounded, like, what just happened here? How did, Gary try to put all this together and then get her friends involved and then try to make it seem like it's so special, where really this is just another way for Gary to be controlling. Keep in mind, you guys, that Jasmine just got arrested last night because she broke into their house and tried to kill him. Who does that? Not the next day, sir. Not at all. But let me know what you guys thought about this episode. Like I said, I need for some days to go by on Sisters for these storylines to make sense to me. But let me know what you guys think. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.